10 plus 10 best quotes from the John Wick franchise. Part 2. Since John Wick 4 is presently in development, the movie's titular assassin hasn't quite finished leaving dead criminals all over the city. How his story develops will have to wait to be seen, especially in light of the third movie's events. In the interim, viewers can relive the franchise's first 3 films and enjoy all the thought-provoking, hilarious, and uplifting quotations included therein. When the next movie is released, there will inevitably be more. The Bowery King's Jab. The Bowery King, the man, the myth, the legend. John Wick. You're not very good at retiring. John, I'm working on it. John may have attributed his relapse into the shadowy world of the assassin to his sadness and need for vengeance, but he couldn't help but be drawn back. This statement was made by the Bowery King when he first joined the franchise, showing that the two men had some prior interaction. After a pretty gruesome acquaintance, in which John allegedly slashed open the Bowery King's throat but allowed him to survive out of respect for the trade, they reunited with these words. For the events of the currently in development John Wick 4 they have since chosen to collaborate. John missing his mark. Rusty, I guess. Although John Wick pulls off a number of impossible feats and endures a beating in order to kill even seasoned special ops military soldiers, he is not without flaws, and not all of his shots are successful. He is still excellent, without a question, but audiences were won over by the original's faint air of uncertainty. That becomes especially obvious when the Russian mob captures him and starts torturing him before Winston intervenes to save him. He inquires as to how John came to be in that specific circumstance, and John's open, sincere response, devoid of any ego, sums up his character well. A grisly proclamation. Whoever comes, whoever it is, I'll kill them. I'll kill them all. John Wick was most exposed in this situation. After being branded excommunicado for killing Santino D'Antonio on the grounds of the Continental, he spoke this line at the conclusion of John Wick 2. Nevertheless, despite his bleak outlook, John was able to find the resolve to keep this commitment. Furthermore, he stated this to Winston, who is the closest thing he had to a father figure, as a warning and a reassurance. Strong remarks were given that he would face off against each and every professional assassin on the globe. Given the quantity of dead he left on the streets in the third movie, it turns out that he came very near to killing them all. Winston's optimistic odds. A $14 million bounty on his head, and every interested party in the city wants a piece of it. I'd say the odds are about even. John Wick violated the Continental's revered no-kill rule, prompting Winston to reluctantly impose a $14 million price on him, albeit he was given 1 hour to get ready for the storm. Winston spoke with Karen, the front desk agent at his hotel. Despite Karen's hopes for John's safety, Winston's assurances came in response to Karen's inquiry about whether Wick would survive the assault. To demonstrate what it would take for John to face a genuine challenge, it would take a windfall of this scale. John's monetary philosophy. Ernest, $14 million is a lot of money. John, not if you can't spend it. Ernest, with whom he had what amounted to a friendship, was one of the killers who pursued John Wick. Ernest made the decision to manipulate the process by pursuing John before the end of his grace period, promising John that no one would be able to detect the difference in either case. Before Ernest attacked him in a library, the two exchanged quotes. Given that Ernest was twice as big as John, the fight was particularly severe. But John shattered his neck over the top of a standing book, and that was how he died. Have you seen part 4 already? Leave a comment. These 10 Quotes channel videos are some you should watch next. Don't forget to check them out as well. The links for these videos are listed in the description below. Karen and John reunite. How good to see you again so soon, Mr. Wick. Karen was happy to see John Wick return to the world of assassins after such a lengthy absence. It would be the first of numerous occasions when John would enter and exit the Continental in order to gather information and replenish his supplies, at least until he violated the hotel's no-kill policy. When he does appear, Karen steals the show as a terrific supporting actor. Audiences pay close attention to everything he says because he is composed, focused, and to the point. This particular quotation perfectly captures his respect-based, lightly sarcastic friendship with John. John remarking about his dog. It wasn't just a puppy. Known as Russian gypsies, John had a kind of adoptive mother who went by the title the director of Ruska Roma. John sought the director's assistance as soon as he was excommunicated in an effort to get rid of the price on his head and resume living a somewhat normal life. Naturally, the director was aware of the difficulties John was facing and assumed they were related to the theft of a car and the death of a dog. This quote, which John immediately corrected her on, was accurate. His puppy was the final gift from his late wife, with whom he had a close relationship. It was one of John Wick's personality quirks that was the easiest to recognize. John makes his return official. You wanted me back. I'm back. When John Wick initially appeared on screen, viewers weren't sure what to think of him because he didn't appear to be much of a cold-blooded killer. They didn't get to witness him in action until later, when they finally understood why he had so many evil guys on edge for so long. This well-known adage sums perfectly John's decision to go back to the life he had worked so hard to leave behind. This declaration was a signal to his opponents that he had returned and was at his best, and it would soon get him into a lot of trouble. Whoever gets in his way, God help them. A nod to the Matrix. Guns. Lots of guns. One of the quotes from John Wick 3, Parabellum referenced The Matrix, another of Keanu Reeves' best films. The line comes from the first Matrix movie, when Neo and Trinity were getting ready to attack a stronghold in a skyscraper where their mentor Morpheus was being imprisoned. Similar to this, John Wick was getting ready for the High Table's impending assault after betraying them in exchange for Winston's life. Even though the answer was obvious, Winston asked John what he needed in order to survive and quell the High Table's fury. Winston in Latin. Si vis pacem, parabellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. In the third John Wick movie, Winston, John, and Karen were forced to create an impromptu fortification out of the Continental while they were busy preparing for the High Table's invasion. While Winston played the role of the king on the chessboard and uttered this Latin classic, John and Karen prepared for the assault. It served as a metaphor for John's situation for the whole runtime of all three films. To establish peace, John would have to go to war, but the question was whether he would succeed in his mission or would only create the foundation for further bloodshed and destruction. What was the John Wick's dog name? Leave a comment. Don't forget to watch this amazing video as well. More videos about your favorite TV series are coming soon. Subscribe to see more.